Can you see all of Walt Disney World in 2 days? Unlikely. Can you see the majority of toppings to do at Walt Disney World in 2 days? Surprisingly, yes. There's tons of information out there about Walt Disney World, but what if you only have 2 days in Orlando and you do want to see every single park?
Normally, we would recommend that you go to one park per day, so in total 4 days minimum to do all of Disney World. We know that's not reasonable for a lot of families.
So here's what we would do if we only had 2 days at Walt Disney World. First up is our recommendation on park tickets. You'll want a 2-day Park Hopper ticket with Genie Plus added on. For Park Hopper, you need to apply it to all days on your ticket, regardless of how many days you're going to be there. You can purchase Genie Plus on the day of your visit only. You cannot book it prior to going to Walt Disney World.
Second off, our advice is to stay at a Disney hotel. The reason for this is because Disney has 30 minutes early entry for any guest staying on a resort.
Don't hate, VIP coming through.
It's natural to feel jealous.
This will help you get some of the e-ticket attractions out of the way before the other guests arrive at the park, allowing you more time to do all the other things before you park hop. Now, if you're on a budget, we would recommend some of the all-star resorts, such as all-star movies, music, or sports.
Now, if you're looking for something a bit nicer, we recommend a Disney Deluxe Resort. These come at a hefty price tag, but if you book through DVC Rental Store, you can save up to 65% off your stay. This is where people with DVC points who are not going to use them post their points for other people. We're including a link down below. As an overview, you're going to do day 1 in the morning at Epcot. Then you're going to park hop to Hollywood Studios. On day 2, you're going to spend the morning in Animal Kingdom and the afternoon and evening at Magic Kingdom. Before we begin, we wanted to let you know that this year we're trying to visit every single Disney park in the world. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel so that you don't miss any of our adventures.
So the first thing you'll have to do actually happens before you visit the parks. At 6:50 a.m., you will have to be up and book a virtual queue for Guardians of the Galaxy, which drops at 7 a.m. That means a millisecond after 7 a.m., you should be booking that virtual queue because they fill up really quickly. Plus, because you're only at Epcot for the first half of the day, you want to make sure that your return time for Guardians of the Galaxy is earlier in the morning.
Pro tip, what we do and what has worked for us every single time we've done it is actually use our watch seconds hand. So what we'll do is we'll be on the Walt Disney World app, we'll look at the seconds hand, and as soon as it hits 7 a.m. on the dot, you pull down the screen to refresh it and you click book virtual queue.
Now, once 7 a.m. hits, you can also start booking Genie Plus lightning lanes. So for this feature, you will need to purchase Genie Plus as an add-on, but trust us, it will save a lot of time when you eventually head to Hollywood Studios, which is a super busy park.
Once you book your virtual queue for Guardians of the Galaxy, pay for your Genie Plus and then book your first attraction. That attraction, and this is really important, is going to be Slinky Dog Dash at Hollywood Studios. This is by far the most brutal queue in all the parks at Walt Disney World, and it takes a really long time to get through the line. It doesn't really matter what time you book it for, as long as you plan to be in the park at that time. So if the first time that pops up is 1 p.m., book it. Then 2 hours later, when Hollywood Studios is officially opened, is when you're able to book your next lightning lane. So keep in mind that you are able to stack them. So every 2 hours, you're able to book. So what you want to do at 9 a.m. is book another one of those big attractions. We recommend Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, Toy Story Mania, Rock and Roller Coaster, Tower of Terror, or Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Then at 11 a.m., you're able to book your next one. So when you do eventually arrive in Hollywood Studios, you will have a lot of lightning lanes stacked up and you're ready to go.
You will also want to consider buying an individual lightning lane, Rise of the Resistance. That's because this ride is separate to Genie Plus. It's an extra paid ticket to skip the line.
We typically don't recommend people do this just because costs start adding up, but if you're only there for 2 days and you really want to see all those major rides and attractions, then it is something to consider. The price ranges between $12 and $25 depending on how busy it is that day in the parks. As a Disney Resort guest, you get first dibs on booking these individual lightning lane attractions.
Okay, now that you have Hollywood Studio in the afternoon all all figured out with your Genie Plus and Lightning lanes, let's go back to Epcot in the morning. You'll want to arrive 30 to 45 minutes before Epcot even opens for early entry because queues for the parks start super early. Now, Epcot is the only park at Walt Disney World that has 2 entry points, one at the main entrance and one on the opposite side at the International Gateway. If you're coming through the main entry, we recommend you rope drop and head straight to Test Track or straight to Frozen. If you have kids, they're probably going to want Frozen, which is a super popular ride. And then once you're finished one of those, just swap for the next ride. Now, if you're entering through the International Gateway, we recommend you head to Remy's Ratatouille because this is a super popular ride and it is right next to the entrance located in the France Pavilion.
Now, if you really want to ride Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, you have to enter at International Gateway. And the reason we say this is because if you're going to the main entrance, the France Pavilion is very far from there. All of the people who are waiting at the International Gateway to get in are all going to Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. Therefore, you'll walk all the way there and the line will already be at 60 minutes, and that totally negates the point of being in the park early. So you may even want to watch some POVs on YouTube to make sure that you and your family actually do want to ride the ride. You're only there for 2 days, and if it's not something you think you're going to enjoy, maybe just skip it. An important note we just learned is that Test Track is closing for retheming on June 17th, 2024, which means your last day to ride is June 16th. So a few other things we recommend you doing if you have time is taking a lap around the World Showcase where you can visit different countries all in one park, visit the aquarium where they have sharks, fish, and manatees. If you've never done it before, take a ride on Soarin' Around the World, which is a flight simulator that lifts you up and is a bit thrilling but also relaxing at the same time. And only if time permits, because it is a very old attraction, is Spaceship Earth. That is the ride that is in the giant golf ball. So as far as food goes at Epcot, we highly recommend you try any of the festival food, but some of the safer options is Canada, the US, France, Mexico, and Germany. The one that we recommend staying away from is Italy.
Now around 1:30 p.m., start heading towards Hollywood Studios. There's 3 ways to get there. You can do it by bus, Skyliner, or by boat. Our recommendation is to skip the bus because sometimes you have to wait for it to arrive and it takes a little bit longer to get there. Plus it's less fun than the Skyliner or getting there by boat.
You can grab the Skyliner or a boat over by International Gateway. So by the time you get to Hollywood Studios, you should have stacked lightning lanes available and you can hit the ground running.
Now, the one thing you cannot miss at Hollywood Studios is Fantasmic. You will kick yourself if you skip this. After the fireworks at Magic Kingdom, this is the 2nd best show at Walt Disney World.
Or on Earth?
Now, there are 2 show times for every day. Some people recommend doing the second one, but we actually recommend the first one because you never know what could happen. There could be reasons why the second show doesn't go on, such as weather, technical issues after the first show, Mickey falls down the stairs, like who knows? So definitely go to the first one so that you do not miss the show.
Now, there's going to be a long line on Sunset Boulevard to get into Fantasmic. Don't worry, the line moves fast and there's about 5,000 seats in the theater. However, if you don't want the stress of waiting in the line and you want a really good seat, Disney World offers Fantasmic dining packages. This comes at a bit of an extra cost, but if you're planning on doing a sit-down dinner anyway, you may as well get the package. We did the Fantasmic dining package last time we were at Hollywood Studios, and we would definitely do it again because the seats are dead in the center and you don't have to worry about the lines.
And after a long day of running back and forth between Epcot and Hollywood Studios, it's kind of nice to reward yourself at the end of the day with a sit-down dinner.
Some foods we recommend at Hollywood Studios: for quick serve, the Ronto wrap in Galaxy's Edge; for sit-down dinner, the Sci-Fi Dine-In; and for a snack, we really enjoy Jack Jack's Nom Nom Cookie from the Incredibles area of Hollywood Studios.
Cookie! Cha-Cha want a cookie?
Day number 2, you're going to Animal Kingdom. But before that, unfortunately, you're going to have to wake up early again.
What?
To to purchase Genie Plus and book your lightning lanes. So today, you're not booking your lightning lanes for Animal Kingdom, but instead Magic Kingdom, because that's where you're going to park hop to later. And that is the much busier part. For Magic Kingdom, just book whatever ride you're most excited for, because they all have basically the same amount of lines, except for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Tron, which is a virtual queue, which we'll discuss later. There is one recommendation we would make here, and it is to buy that individual lightning lane for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train if you have the extra money. If not, we highly recommend doing Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at the very end of the night. So Disney has this great rule where if the park closes at 11 p.m., you can get in line for any ride at 10:59 p.m. and you will still get to do the ride. This roller coaster has been open for a decade now, and it is still one of the most popular rides in all the Disney parks.
Now, similar to the previous date, you will want to get to the parks 30 to 45 minutes before it opens to early entry. From there, you're going to head straight to Flight of Passage in the Land of Avatar. Make sure to walk quickly, but not run towards Flight of Passage.
Now, to get to Flight of Passage, you're going to be at the center of the park in front of the Tree of Life, and you're going to head left. If you forget, just follow the massive crowd of people that's also headed to that ride.
Once you get off the Banshees, make sure to head straight to Navi River Journey. It's right next door, and usually it's walk-on because most people are still heading towards Flight of Passage.
Even if it says 40 minutes on the standby queue, do not believe it. It's usually 5 minutes, and what we recommend is lowering your expectations, especially after getting off Flight of Passage. This is a slow-moving boat ride with some cool effects, but it's very short and can be a little bit underwhelming.
There's no drops, but they do have a really cool animatronic at the very end. The most expensive one ever, I believe.
Yes,
right?
$20 million.
Whew. Now, once you're done with the Land of Avatar, head straight to Kilimanjaro Safari. That's because early on in the morning, the animals are the most active, so you'll likely see the giraffes roaming around your vehicles. There's also an opportunity that the lions are active. We can't promise this because lions sleep up to 16 hours per day. The last time we went to Animal Kingdom, the lions were actually playing together because we went straight there after Avatar.
Get him! Get him!
Oh my goodness.
Get him! That's a lioness. Just big kitties. She came out of nowhere. Now, lions are actually nocturnal animals.
Then after you hopefully see the lions playing, you'll head to Expedition Everest, which is in the Asia area of Animal Kingdom. Now, this is an intense roller coaster, but it is super fun. It goes really fast, there's a lot of drops and a lot of surprises.
Now, if time permits, a must-see show is The Lion King. It's filled with fire, acrobats, amazing singers, and animatronics. Plus, it has your favorite Lion King songs.
Now, you're going to want to head to Magic Kingdom no later than 12 p.m. To get there, you will need to take a Disney bus or take an Uber or a Lyft. We recommend taking the bus because it actually gets closer than an Uber or a Lyft. Now, this is very important. You want to be at the Magic Kingdom inside before 1 p.m. That's because this is when the next batch of virtual queues become available for Tron Light Cycle Run. This is Magic Kingdom's newest ride. The same thing that you did with Guardians of the Galaxy yesterday, you're going to do today. Hold down that screen as soon as it hits 1 p.m. and book your virtual queue.
Some of our must-dos for Magic Kingdom include Jungle Cruise, Haunted Mansion, Big Thunder Mountain, Space Mountain, Tron, Pirates of the Caribbean, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Buzz Lightyear Ranger Spin, and the People Mover.
Now, the People Mover might not sound super exciting, but we love it because it's a really good way of relaxing and cooling off after a long, hot day. Now, another thing we suggest doing if there's time is catching the Cavalcade Parade. This launches off at Frontierland and goes all the way around the park down Main Street, USA. Check the app to see what time the parade starts on the day that you're there.
Now, remember when I said Fantasmic is the second best show at Walt Disney World? The must-do thing at Magic Kingdom is Happily Ever After. Happily Ever After. Brr, brr, brr. Sponsored by
Pandora Jewelry.
So Happily Ever After is Disney's fireworks show, and it happens after the sun goes down, so it changes from time to time, so make sure to go onto the Disney app to see when the show is. You will want to get there 30 to 45 minutes before the show begins because guests will be clamoring for the best seats available.
The best spot to view the fireworks is actually behind the partner statue of Walt and Mickey. This is because you get a great view. If you're too close, you actually won't see all of the fireworks or the projections.
Be warned, if you show up 5 to 10 minutes before the show begins, likely the cast members are going to direct you to the end of Main Street, and it's really hard to see the projections on the castle.
Now, Magic Kingdom is not known for their food whatsoever, but there are a few options that we like there. The Adventureland spring roll cart with the cheeseburger spring rolls, so good. We served them at our wedding. We like Casey's hot dogs, Aloha Isle for the Dole Whip, and Liberty Tavern, where you can sit upstairs where it's nice and quiet. And there you have it. Now you know how to see Walt Disney World in just 2 days, having the best time ever. Keep in mind that you should be open and flexible because plans don't always go your way.
If you're planning a Disney vacation, let us know how many days you're going and which parks you're visiting. Comment down below because we love hearing about other people's Walt Disney plan.
And with that, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.